Don't eat that donut after church. Watch this instead. Let's be honest. One of the first thoughts that probably hits you during Sunday service isn't always the sermon, what the pastor is saying, right? It's generally, what am I going to eat afterward? Here's the truth. Food dominates most of our thoughts. So don't feel bad. This is something we all struggle with. If you've ever fasted, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We think about food all day. And when you're constantly giving into craving, especially refined grains and sugars, you're setting yourself up for a dangerous path. Things like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even dramatically higher risks of dementia and Alzheimer's later in life. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm just trying to scare you, read the book Grain Brain by Dr. David Perlmutter. It's a technical book, but it's going to open your eyes. Dr. Perlmutter is a board-certified neurologist and a fellow of the American College of Nutrition. I've never seen a physician that actually knows about nutrition, and so I was excited to read his book. And one of the things that I've experienced in 2 decades of working with people as a clinical pastoral counselor with a master's degree in eating disorders and substance abuse, and like I mentioned, I've spent over 2 decades studying food addiction. I worked with more than 5,000 people around the world, and despite their different backgrounds, they all share one thing in common. They loved food, but food controlled them. In this video, I'm going to unpack why food has become the Christian crack. I know it sounds mean, it sounds harsh, but hear me out. My heart's in a good place. I want to give you tools so you can overcome this. So don't go anywhere. And I want to show you exactly how to break free from the grip of addiction, right? How to realign your relationship with food so it honors God instead of feeding impulse and desire. And so, number one, how sugary snacks like donuts became the norm in church culture. You'll never see alcohol served at a church, unless, of course, it's a really cool church. I'm just kidding. But donuts are everywhere. You don't see alcohol anywhere, but you see the donuts everywhere. It's become socially accepted to use junk food as a way to connect and socialize. And if you don't take part in these fellowship situations, right, people they guilt you into joining in. We often overlook the fact that many of us don't need to be eating those things, yet misery loves company. You see these people that are, overweight, and yet they're feeding them all this poison, right? And this isn't a church environment. The other thing I mention all the time is that, just one cheat donut, right, after church can derail your progress. We hear this all the time. It's just one donut, JT. Obesity and lifestyle-related diseases kill more people each year than drugs and alcohol combined. Yikes, that is crazy. Every time I say that, I can't believe it. Dr. Perlmutter, that I mentioned, that wrote the book Grain Brain, explains that excess sugar literally damages the brain, creating degenerative issues later in life. Even if you've been doing well, that one donut will trigger what we call the mesolimbic pathway. This is the same area tied to addiction and dependency. After that insulin spike, your body can take up to 3 days to recover and go back into homeostasis, meaning create a balance where you can self-regulate. And so, we hear it all the time from people, hey, you don't need to lose weight, you're fine. And what I'd like to say is normal is holding you back, right? A man with 25% body fat or more is considered obese regardless of BMI. Same thing for women, right? Women with 32% or more body fat fall into the same category. But beyond the physical issues, which are huge, let's talk about spiritual consequences. When you're not physically well, you operate at a fraction of your potential. Your senses dull, your spiritual discernment fades, and fatigue begins to rob your purpose. When your body is burdened, your ministry suffers. You've made it this far, and you're not upset at me yet. You're part of that 3%, right? If you've made it this far, you're possibly done making excuses and ready to truly make a change. And I'm excited about that. So grab a pen and a paper because we're going to solve this issue today. I'm going to give you some practical steps to break free, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is fasting, right? For spiritual reasons and for physical reasons. And so before beginning anything, take 1 to 2 days to fast, okay? Once again, this fast for spiritual reasons and for physical reasons. And so before beginning anything, take 1 to 2 days of fasting and prayer, okay? Ask the Lord to strengthen you in this process. Write out your prayers before you begin fasting and really ask the Lord to deliver you from this challenge. You see the scriptures and where Jesus encounters a demon-possessed man, and he basically he prays for him, and the demons just flee. And the apostles look at him and say, how come we couldn't do that? And he says, because these types of demons require fasting and prayer. I'm not saying that your issue with food is a demon, but I am saying that fasting is a powerful way to come to the Lord in humility with a contrite heart so that he can start to renew and restore you and give you the energy and the edification you need to really transform from the inside out. Also, from a physical standpoint, after 16 hours of fasting, your body begins burning fat for fuel, aka ketones. This will help your transition smoothly into your nutrition plan and accelerate early results. When you break your fast, you start with things that are going to nourish you: lean proteins, healthy fats, electrolytes, right? Also, expect withdrawals in the first 12 days. This is normal, okay? You're gonna miss that sugar. This is the toughest part of the phase, right? Of this initial phase, but also one of the most transformative. If you're a man and you aim for at least 150 grams of protein per day, you're gonna feel pretty satiated. If you're a woman, aim for at least 100 grams of protein per day. Protein is what we call the king macronutrient. Protein keeps you satiated, stabilizes your blood sugar, and prevents binge cycles. Also, it's important to load up in greens and fibers so that you stay regular throughout this process, going to the bathroom. You also want to have energy, so include healthy fats like olive oil, coconut oil, avocados. You want to make sure that you put starches aside for 15 days. These are insulin triggers, okay? I'm not saying that carbs are bad. We're just going to put them aside so that we can make some progress, and then we'll bring them back in. Also, water is so incredibly important. You want to drink half to 1 gallon of water a day, okay? You want to make sure that you keep your hydration up. More importantly, you want to build an environment that supports success, right? Your environment either reinforces discipline and self-control or temptation. You've heard the saying, out of sight, out of mind, and so remove junk food from your home. The opposite is true of that saying. If you keep things very, visible, you're gonna do them. And so keep visual cues like water bottles, leave your sneakers by the door so you're reminded to be active. Prep your meals where you can see them, right? Leave them at the entrance of your fridge. So when you open the fridge, the first thing you see is your meals. Set reminders on your phone, set alarms for meals, cardio, bedtime, right? I always say success starts the night before. So make sure that you're getting to bed early so you can get up early enough and you can do your cardio on a fasted, in a fasted state, which is super powerful as well. I would say invest in lowering the barrier to habits, okay? Get a static bike or a walking pad for your home. Think about this. If you have to get in a car and go to a gym to do cardio, that's gonna require a lot more energy. Your brain appreciates when you actually save energy because spending energy, your brain perceives as you dying, okay? So if you have a static bike or a walking pad at home, you're just gonna get to it a lot easier. If this resonates with you and you're thinking, JT, I just don't know if I can stick to this long term, this is a lot, then I'd love to connect with you on a one-on-one and see if we're a good fit to work together. I left the link in the description box below. And before you go, please make sure to check out this next video to understand the process in even greater depth. My friend, I believe in you. I know you can make a change. I know you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Remember that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. And so now you have a plan. Let's execute. If you feel like that's too hard, reach out and I'll help. I'll do it with you. We're in this together. May the Lord bless you and keep you. I'll see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.